and now I am very passionate about helping people live as healthy as possible, completely free of pharmaceuticals. I work with a lot of vaccine injured families, and that's kind of where my passion is at right now. And this is my friend Kimberly. I know her through my first direct sales company that I was with, and we actually didn't really know each other. We just knew of each other. And in 2016, Kim called me out of the blue. I was really excited because I thought she was going to ask me about my company that I was with. And she's like, no, she's like, I just wanted to pick your brain about something. And she told me about this. And I was like, this is like way too good to be true. She's telling me about this thing that we're going to talk about. And so she's, we talked for a good hour or so. She sent me some information, and I was just, being the science geek that I am and loving to know how everything works in the body. And I was so blown away by the science, and you guys are going to be blown away too. It gives me chills just to talk about it. I said, I have to try this. And so I figured the best way to do that would be to share it with my father, who is the biggest skeptic in the world. He does nothing healthy, nothing. He thinks that holistic health is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I begged him, I said, Dad, I could probably help a lot of people if this thing really works the way that it's supposed to. So will you please just try it for 30 days? And when I put it to him that way, he's like, okay, I'll try it for 30 days and I'm not going to take it another day after that. So after, and I'll say my dad had horrible arthritis in his feet to the point where he couldn't walk. He had back pain so bad for like all of his adult life, to the point where he had to get steroid injections to help the pain. And after 2 weeks on this, we have to be very careful that I'm just going to say this, we have to be very careful. We cannot say the name of the actual supplement. So we're just going to talk about the science and what it's doing. So just, we can't say the actual name because of FDA stuff. But after 2 weeks, he no longer had stiffness in his back. He didn't need to take Advil anymore. Like, his pain was gone, the pain in his feet, the pain in his back. And my dad kept taking it. So that is huge. We also gave it to my dog, and my dog was very lethargic. She was old, very lethargic. She walked with a limp. After 30 days on this, she no longer had a limp. She had the energy of a puppy again. And then I have also used this for some stuff that I had going on, and I just can't say what it is, but I'd be happy to talk to people privately if they're interested. So anyway, that's my, I just seen so many stories and so many things. It's hard to wrap it all up into one ball, but that's my personal experience with this. And so, Kim, I want you to share your story, and then you guys, we are going to talk about the science about how this all works, and that's what's really, really important. So, Kim, take it away.
Thanks, Meg. Yeah, it's been it's over 2.5 years now that my husband and I decided to look into this. And it all started literally because of my journey. And it was a really long road that we traveled. That started actually this coming May, it'll be 10 years ago. So May of 2009, I got sick. And multiple things happened over a 7-year period of time, anywhere from optic neuritis and losing my eyesight in my left eye, and being tested for MS, to miscarriages, to pulmonary embolism, to adrenal fatigue, and gut issues, acid reflux so bad. I was actually at 37 diagnosed with Barrett's esophagus. And we suffered silently for the most part. And I know a lot of people can probably relate to this, but when you're sick and you talk to the people that you're closest to, and you're not getting better, you're not finding answers, but you're continually not feeling well. It almost gets to the point where you feel them like kind of seriously stop, this is getting old, stop talking about it, so I literally shut down, and Brody and I battled this quietly for a really long time. It's to this day, some of the closest people in our lives never knew what I truly went through. And that's just something that, you know, when you're going through something like that, it's very personal, but it's also scary because I wasn't getting any better. I mean, literally, I don't know how many doctors that I saw. And I realized quickly through just my own research and self-advocating that, you know, there's certain things about conventional medicine that weren't working for me. You know, I never did take any medications other than something for my GERD and reflux. I mean, it was so severe that I wasn't able to keep food down at one point. And so it really, I kind of, it was really, I think, when I was told that I was compound heterozygous for MTHFR, that really started to open my eyes, and I started to do research. But every single doctor I talked to said, "Oh, it's no big deal. Poo-pooed it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything different. It's not going to affect your health." You know, and I know that's just a piece to the puzzle. Don't get me wrong, but it's an important piece. And so it wasn't until I had my pulmonary embolism, where I was literally fighting for my life, that I thought, okay, something needs to change here. And there's not anybody that can help me figure this out. So I need to do it on my own. And that's really, truly the road that we started to travel together. And I really, really kind of overhauled our entire home several years ago. And I did start seeing more of a natural type doctor. And I was swallowing about 60 pills a day, 60 supplements, some of them 2 to 3 times a day. So it actually was probably more than 60 pills, but it was exhausting and very expensive. We spent probably about $6,000 in 2 months. And we had literally, over the course of 7 years, spent tens of thousands of dollars on my health. So at that point, he breached my trust, and I felt like my back was up against the wall and there was nothing that could help me. And honestly, I do feel like this was kind of a godsend for me. Not kind of, it was. Because the day that this all came into my life, I was on my knees begging for something to help me feel better. And that's when I got a text message about this. Mm-hmm. And it was so bizarre, because you know how you get so busy in life where you go through the motions some days and you're not really stopping to pay attention. That day alone just taught me how to stop and listen to, like, the whispers that are coming into your life. And it was like, okay, there's something to this. It actually was introduced to me 5 years ago, and it went in one ear and out the other, because that was at another time where, you know, Brody and I were trying to have another baby and wasn't working, kind of thing. And it was like a consuming situation for us that we weren't open, you know, to talking about and looking at anything at that point. So it wasn't the right timing, but this time it was. And I was all ears. And so I showed Brody, we looked at the science. I looked at the science for a long time, probably a good few weeks to a month before I even signed and decided that I was going to, you know, take these products, or, you know, and literally we jumped in, and I haven't looked back, because this literally completely changed the trajectory of my entire life in 5 days. I was a brand new person. And, you know, it's hard to even put into words at this point, going from where I was to where I am now. I mean, there have been times that I haven't been able to take care of my kids. You know, they can't find traces of Barrett's esophagus anymore. You know, I mean, my anxiety was debilitating after, I mean, I've had little bouts of it. And that all started actually when I went through my divorce, and it was never real severe until I had my pulmonary embolism. And then it was a daily situation. It was very debilitating. And within 2 weeks, I noticed that I was anxiety free. And that, to me in itself, was life changing. But when you dig deeper into this and you actually look at the product and the activation I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was supplementing my body, and supplements do, some of them can create oxidative stress. They can be harmful. It's like trying to fill a hole, and I truly felt like that. I felt like nobody ever had the answer for me, and it was beyond frustrating, where I've spent so many thousands of dollars to get answers, and I literally threw away a cupboard full of supplements that was worth thousands of dollars after this, because what happens when you take this is it actually activates your body to do what God designed it to do. It's doing the work. It turns on the DNA in every single cell of your body, and it upregulates our own God-given antioxidants inside of our cells, which are so much more, millions of times more powerful than anything that you
Yep.
can take. And that, like, I know that hands down, you know, I had a high oxidative stress, and this is in particular probably the #1 biohacking supplement on this planet to date. And it's crazy because it's the best kept secret. There's not a lot of people that know about it. There's a lot of people who expect to see something happen immediately. And the crazy thing is what people need to realize is that when you get to a disease state, or you go to the doctor and you are diagnosed with, say, lupus or fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis or colitis, your body is screaming at you. I mean, literally screaming at you. And it's
Yep.
in an advanced state at that point. A lot of people don't pay attention to preventative methods, or little whispers that happen along the way. And there's various reasons for that. But when you get to that point and then you start this product, people want to see something immediately. And that's not what this is about. This is about the long run. You know, this
Right.
gets into the nucleus of the cell, and that's where it starts.
Let's talk about that, because you know, this is part of what I'm so passionate about, is like the pharmaceutical industry and pharmaceuticals themselves don't ever address the root cause of what caused that fibromyalgia to begin with, what caused that cancer growth to begin with, what caused the autism, what caused the Alzheimer's. And so when we are taking pharmaceuticals, we are not addressing the root cause of what caused that to begin with. It might manage the symptoms, but then you have a laundry list of 10,000 other symptoms that might be worse than the thing that you're trying to alleviate to begin with. So let's talk about the science of what this is actually doing in the body, because what this is doing, you guys, is this is addressing the very root cause of basically 90 to 95% of all chronic disease and illness. All of that stuff starts with this very condition that she's talking about called oxidative stress. There's hundreds of thousands of peer-reviewed published studies on this, and this is why I say I love the science, because all of this is 100% backed by science. And you guys are going to be really excited about it, because this, like anything from fibromyalgia to cancer to Alzheimer's to autism to heart disease to asthma, you name it, if you look it up, it probably begins with oxidative stress. So let's talk about that, Kim. This is not, we're calling it a supplement. It's not actually a supplement. It's actually doing something inside of all of the cells of our body. So why don't you talk about that?
So, and if you look up oxidative stress, and I tell people that if that's one thing you're going to Google, go Google oxidative stress and see how profound it is, and what a profound situation it has on the body. Go to pubmed.gov. Look up oxidative stress. There's over 200,000 studies on it. Go to NRF2 in PubMed. There's thousands upon thousands of studies on these right now. And like you said, pharmaceuticals, you know, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for conventional medicine. I would never discount that. But for long-term chronic situations that people are dealing with, the body is out of balance. And there's so many things involved in it. And that as we start to age, you know, we have high oxidative stress levels, and our own God-given built-in antioxidants such as glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, they start to decrease. And that's normal. we live in such an extremely toxic world, as you know, and that's something that I'm so passionate about, is educating other people. And there's so much involved in this. You know, I mean, these are incredible tools to use, these products, and these activators, I should say, because what they do is they activate your body to do what it was designed to do. But there's so many other factors out there as well. But one of the key things is that, so if you look at all these conditions caused by oxidative stress, and then you find something that's clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days on average, 70% in 120 days on average, do you not think that your condition is going to get better? I mean, this is cellular health. And I've spoken to a lot of the doctors in our company where they say, it doesn't matter what the disease process is. If you're healing at the cellular level, you're healing your body, you know, and that's what I want people to realize. And one of my biggest situations is that my body was challenged when it came to detoxification. And one of the very key life-changing pieces of this one activator is the fact that it upregulates our body to produce its own glutathione by 300% after 120 days. 300%. I will tell you this.
Yep.
I don't care if you're getting glutathione infusions and spending $150 a week doing so, like I had friends doing. There is not anything on this planet that can do that. I have seen medical miracles beyond anything that I could even personally comprehend happen in the last 2.5 years. We have seen multiple hundreds of people come off pharmaceutical medications. Now, I'm not saying that this cures, treats, prevents, or mitigates any disease. That's not it. The body is starting to do its own work again. It's starting to almost act as if it's a young child again. And that's the key piece of it. And a lot of people, I'm sure that many people in your network know what glutathione is because of the situations that you deal with. But glutathione, I mean, it's our master antioxidant.
Yep.
You know, it's
our master detoxifier. In children who like people who have MTHFR, like you said you have, naturally have lower levels of glutathione, which is why they're more prone to these conditions, because you're more prone to the oxidative stress. And children with autism, this is one thing that they found, is they have significantly reduced levels of glutathione. So what this is actually doing is it activates a protein in all of your cells that makes your body produce its own antioxidants. Glutathione, the master one, catalase, and then one called superoxide dismutase, which is a master antioxidant. And the man who discovered that enzyme actually was a man who formulated this activator. That's right?
Exactly.
Yep, Dr. Joe McCord. So yeah, all right, go ahead.
But I mean, glutathione, you know, when you can upregulate it by 300%, if you just even connect disease processes and low glutathione, cancer, autism, I mean, you name it, it's connected. It's just, it's very profound. It's the master anti-inflammatory. It's the master detoxifier in every single cell. It's the protector of our immune system. It's a major protector of our mitochondria, which is another key piece to this. But, you know, honestly, glutathione is truly the first line of defense against any environmental chemicals or toxins in the world. So you need it. Every single person on this planet that breathes oxygen needs this activator, period. And the thing is what I'm going to say too is, I know that there's a lot of skeptics. One of the blessings that I consider like one of my strengths is that I am a very open-minded, open-hearted person. I have been since I was little. And so when this was brought to me, I was never skeptical. I was curious to the point where I took the research of this deeper than most people do outside of the doctors that, you know, join forces. Because I had already gone through this 7-year long road of of hitting walls everywhere I turned. Nobody could help me. Nobody could figure this out. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just going to be buying another supplement, or, you know, I wanted to know what this was about. And to know that we actually have 24 peer-reviewed studies published in the highest level of scrutinized medicine, PubMed.gov, is unheard of. When you see it studied up against ALS, MS, osteoarthritis, this supplement, or activator, I should say, is the only thing on the planet that has been proven to extend human life. I mean, that's massive in itself. There's 27 peer reviews total, and there's multiple hundreds in the works. And
Kim,
to me, that is, yes.
I just wanted to say too, is that, you know, this is not tobacco science either. Like the company that makes this is not actually funding. I mean, they have studied their own funding, but most of these are funded by outside institutions, major universities, major institutions, because the science is freaking ridiculous.
It is. And I mean, so it's kind of funny. I look at it so many different ways, but there's not one person on the planet that can take my story away from me. So when I'm dealing with skeptics, it's okay. A cynic, I'm not going to deal with. Like, I really don't care. I want everybody to realize the power of what we have in our hands, because this is going to be the shift in the future of health and wellness. This is nutrigenomics. It's taking natural compounds and pairing it with your genes. This is will turn the bad switches off in your body. You know, these genetic mutations that people have. When you start to heal your cells, and bring your body back into homeostasis, which these promote, you're going to see that you're going to have better gene expression overall. And I've seen it. I personally have lived it. And you know, I'm not one. I haven't been to the doctor. I mean, it's been a godsend, a miracle, like life-changing event in my life, that I haven't even had to go to the doctor in 2.5 years. Almost, in May, it'll be 3 years, other than, you know, I get routine blood work, which, mind you, is the best it's ever been in my entire life. My inflammatory markers are negligent. I mean, you know, I am so passionate that this gets out into the world, because truly not enough people know about it. And people base, I think it's really important to mention that, not to base this around or get hooked on a feeling, and that thinking that it's not going to work. I've actually had quite a few people stop this activator, not understanding truly what it's done for them and their blood work. Or, you know, I mean, people take supplements all the time. People take a daily vitamin a lot of times, which, you know, I personally don't, but some do. You cannot feel that. You cannot feel that this is making you healthy on the inside. It's dousing the inflammation inside your body at a rate that nothing else can do. It's also anti-fibrotic. So it'll eat away at collected scar tissue in your body. And sometimes I know people start this thinking, okay, I have this pain, this hurts, but they don't know anything else. I mean, you cannot feel cancer growing in your body. You can't feel your cholesterol rising. And so some people stop it prematurely, not understanding that it's going to work where it needs to work first, and then it's going to move to where it wants to work. But it's this pulsatile action. It's like a dimmer switch in the body. Because that it's God's pharmacy, your body actually knows what to do with these ingredients. When you get into a synthetic NRF2 activator, which I've seen people take, or other NRF2 activators, show me the science. Show me the proof. We've got proof. I've seen proof. We've got proof in PubMed. And, you know, I mean, this is something that is, I have no doubt that this activator is in the midst of making history. It's something that I watched my son struggle with gut issues, to the point where my husband and I were very concerned. You know, it's our child. He was 4 years old. I didn't think twice about putting this inside of his body. I did the research. So what people need to understand too is this activator has 5 ingredients to it. It's a plant-based activator, but those 5 ingredients, it's 5 minuscule amounts, subtherapeutic amounts, nothing that will cause a side effect. Not in the history of this being around for 15 years, there's not been one side effect. I mean, it's like eating an amazing high-powered salad for your body.
Let's talk about that for 1 second, because this is something that I get a lot. And I just find a lot of people they don't want to look at the research. And that's where the understanding comes in of what this does. So when people, first of all, when people say that like cell phones cause cancer or GMOs cause cancer or this causes this does that, what they're doing is they're creating oxidative stress. That's the connection there. These things are causing oxidative stress. So basically what that condition is it's an imbalance in the body of free radicals and the antioxidants that you produce to be able to neutralize the free radicals. So when you have more free radicals and you have antioxidants, they damage the cell, they damage the DNA, and then you're replicating damaged cells. And that's the very beginning of disease, basically all of it. So that's how it's so exciting, is it's stopping that. This cuts your oxidative stress levels down to levels of a newborn. It's the only supplement activator in the world that's proven to do that. And so this is 5 herbal ingredients. This is what I was going to say. People say, oh, I take that already. But we actually have a study that taking these herbs by themselves is not anywhere close to doing what this does. It's taking the supplement in this formulation that it's in is 18 times more effective than taking the herbs by themselves. And if you were to take exogenous glutathione, that is taking a glutathione pill, or vitamin C, and this is more effective than IV vitamin C, I've looked it up, and it's a fraction of the cost. You're basically neutralizing 1 free radical per molecule, if that makes sense. So if you're taking in 1 molecule of glutathione, you're going to neutralize 1 free radical. But what this does, the superoxide dismutase, which is the another master enzyme, is you're able to neutralize a million free radicals per second. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. That means that
per second.
It's mind blowing to me, like what this is doing. So that's the first piece of it, is this NRF2 pathway, we call it. Let's talk about the other one, because I know mitochondrial dysfunction is another really, really big piece, especially with the autistic children that I see, and with the vaccine damaged children that I see, is the mitochondrial dysfunction. It's another thing that goes hand in hand with MTHFR. So talk about the mitochondrial pathway, the NRF1.
So this is something that came into my life after I had already started the other activator. So 3 weeks later is when it was launched, and so I was really excited, because this is another cellular pathway. And so that's what's so crazy about this, is they're discovering how to activate our what's already inside of our body.
Right.
And the mitochondria actually produce up to 95% of the energy that our body uses. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it, but they break down over time as we age, and that's a natural part of oxidative stress. But the fewer the mitochondria that you have, the less energy you're going to have, period.
Right.
I mean, that's so if people are in their slump in the afternoon, I mean, it's crazy. At the time of death, people have had I've read that there's been people that have had only 5% mitochondrial function left in their body. I mean, that's kind of severe. When you actually pair these in tandem together, you're giving your cellular your cells a 1-2 punch at the cellular level. I mean, it's a full cellular repair at this point. But mitochondria also produce ATP, and that's what pumps our heart. That's what builds our, supports our muscle growth. And that's what helps us maintain a healthy brain. Those are big deals. And so it's definitely as necessary, but it needs to be taken in tandem or with the other oxidative, or the other.
What is it?
The
What is it
NRF2
doing?
activator.
What is the NRF1 activator
So
doing?
the NRF1 is going to help produce new, more powerful mitochondria. It's going to boost mitochondrial production, and it's also going to protect the ones that we have while restoring cellular health. These two together are going to allow our cells to work at peak performance, period. So that's the main function of this. So when I'm not going to lie, when I got on this, Ava's so cute. Oh, that's your baby.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hey, that's what this is about. But basically, when I started this, I kind of went backwards a little bit as far as energy, because it's repairing mitochondria, and that's what gives us our energy. So it was probably about 2 weeks or 3 weeks where I noticed that I was lacking energy a little bit, and my sleep was broken up a little bit. But what it promotes afterwards, once it's in your system, is your energy level and definitely deep sleep. Also, both of these together, athletes, the recovery time it's insane. It's crazy because I actually just started working out again recently. And I remember not being able to go up and down stairs or walking. I mean, I'm bouncing back. I'm feeling good. And honestly, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life being on these products, to be honest. So, but yeah, it's
good stuff.
It's great stuff.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal, you guys. I'm going to be giving away a month. I'm going to give away an NRF2 activator and an NRF1 activator. If you like, comment, share this video, or tag some people who you think might be interested. Does anybody have any questions for me or Kim? I'm so grateful that you called me that day, because this has been a blessing for so many people in my life. Truly.
Well, you know what? I'm a big believer, and if somebody's on your heart, you need to reach out to them. And I'm very intentional with the way I do this, because I personally felt it changed my life, and I knew that if it was going to change my life, it's going to change other people's lives. And to sit back and think that we've literally watched it change thousands of lives in just such a short period of time, I mean, is a blessing. I just only hope that people continue to take a look at this. The research we have coming, Meg, is massive. It's massive. Massive. It's exciting.
I love my research.
But yeah, so
any questions down there so far, or
I don't see any so far, and I can go back in the thread and